everyone, welcome to my Nature Diaries. Do you have a pile of sketchbooks that you haven't used, or maybe you have them as gifts and you want to get your nature journal or sketchbook started this year? Then follow along with me. I'm going to share with you 5 tips on how to get your sketchbook started, or at least make it a little bit easier for you to do so. So let's get started with the first tip. Create a space to make art. I can't stress enough how important it is to clear your desk space or maybe a table and have an area where you can put down a sketchbook and sit down right away and be able to make art. Whether you are a neat and tidy artist or maybe a little bit more on the messy side, it's so important to have some kind of area where you don't have anything going on and you have this clear space to create. Having a clean space to work can create a sense of peace, which is vitally important. And when we prep to make art, what it's going to do is help us to focus on that art making time. By prepping our workspace, what we're doing is we're creating this invitation to sit down and to go ahead and make art. Number 2 is have your art supplies on hand. This tip has helped me so much to develop an art habit and to sketch and make art much more often than I would have before, mostly because I have all these supplies right in hand's reach. Again, what we're doing here is we're prepping our workspace, and what this will do is create this sense of urgency to want to make art. By doing all this prep work before we make art, what we're doing is trying to eliminate the excuses that we often have for not wanting to create that day. I will admit to being a bit of a lazy artist, and so this tip has helped me so much to take away these reasons that I have for not wanting to create maybe in that particular moment. Your art supply setup could look like a cup with some brushes and pens and pencils, something that is very easy to access, that is right around a place where maybe you sit down to read or just kind of relax. It's just really important to have your art supplies available and at the ready so you can create at a moment's notice. With all of life's distractions, having a few art supplies around us is a huge help. Tip number 3, make an art kit. Having a dedicated art studio can be a bit of a luxury, and I happen to have an extra bedroom that I use for mine. However, if that's not something that you have access to, like I didn't for many, many years, then what you can do is to put an art kit together. As a nature journaler, I have different art kits that I have put together to journal when I'm outdoors, but did you know you could make one for inside? I put together a large kit like this for mostly indoor journaling. The bag I'm using has a really nice zipper, and it's like a plastic, so it can be water resistant. What you put inside is up to you. I have a little travel sketchbook that I use mostly outdoors. I also like to carry around an extra watercolor palette. If you are able to have more than one, then this is a great idea. And then you can fill out the rest of your kit with water brush pens, and this is a super good idea if you are not wanting to carry water around. A mechanical pencil and a micron pen kind of fills out the rest of this little portable kit. Even though this art kit is portable and you could take it anywhere with you to journal, I often like to keep it just right around me. Many times I like to make art at our dining room table, and so I'll just kind of place it near the area where I will sit, and it's just a great place to make art for me. It's important to find really good lighting, which that area is, and by me having these art supplies so close and everything that I pretty much need, I can jot down something very quickly or maybe work on an idea, because I always keep a sketchbook or several sketchbooks with it as well. Again, what I'm trying to do is to eliminate any excuses that I might have for not wanting to make art or not wanting to even get up and go to my really nice little art space to create. And a little portable art kit is really a great place to start, and you don't have to have a fancy one. And I also will have the items that I have in that art kit listed in the description if you're interested. You can throw some art supplies in a Ziploc bag today, and then you'll be able to make art whenever the inspiration strikes. And that leads us to our next tip, which is block out time for art. As we all know, time is such a valuable commodity. I mean, there's so many things that we want to do in a day. There's so many things that we need to do in a day that making art can really be low on the priority list. Especially as adults, it becomes something that feels maybe a little bit more trivial, or perhaps people around us don't understand our compulsion for wanting to make art. The idea of blocking out time for your art then makes it become more of a priority. This doesn't necessarily mean that you have to put it in your daily planner and schedule out your art times unless that's your lifestyle or maybe that's how you like to plan ahead. What I'm referring to more is making art and time for art a priority in your life. I think this tip is more about looking at your life and kind of evaluating what your schedule is like. For example, I remember when our two boys were little, I wanted to paint a mural in their bedroom that they shared because it was a train theme. And I didn't really have any extra time. I was busy morning till evening. The only time I could think about creating was when they were fast asleep in their beds. I was able to turn the light on. I know it's kind of crazy. They didn't wake up, but I would work on this little train mural. And it wasn't huge. It wasn't a huge picture, but I was able to work on it late at night. And I didn't realize how much therapy it was for me at the time. I started to look forward to those times at night when I was able to create. And not only did I make a design, but I also created memories for not only our children, but also for their cousins who would come over to visit and their friends. They would often mention that whole mural to me so many times. Whether you block out time for once a week or 5 times a week for making art, just the fact that you're making space for it in your life is going to help develop a habit for you to create more frequently. If you haven't already, please subscribe for more nature art, and thank you to those who have done so. Also, like, comment, and share the video if you can, because it really helps me out so much. Follow me on Instagram at my_Nature Diaries for more nature art over there. And now we get to tip number 5, which is don't make art every day. Maybe a better way for me to explain this is not that you can't make art every day, but it's more like don't put pressure on yourself to make art every day. This kind of goes along with blocking out time for your art. Even though you might want to start a sketchbook or art habit, you don't necessarily have to draw something every single day. Now, this might go or sound contrary to what you hear from other artists, and I'm not saying it's the only way to do something. I'm just saying that for me, if I were to try to make myself do it every day, I would probably get burnt out. My goal with art is to get better and to create as often as I am able to, because I have a lot of other hobbies that I like to do in my life. Art being very important, I still don't necessarily want to have to feel pressure to make a drawing or paint or sketch every single day if it's just not on the schedule. Instead of me drawing daily, I tend to have creative spurts. In other words, I like to make things in bulk, where like this layout that you've been seeing me work on, I have worked on this over a period of 3 days. And for me, that works out great because I am able to enjoy it, but I'm not getting burnt out on it, and it makes me want to create again. And really, isn't that the most important thing, is to do whatever it takes to help us to want to keep making our art. Let me know if this video was helpful to you in any way by liking, commenting, subscribing, and sharing the video. Remember, you're so amazing and creative. Bye.